Here at Kwanzaa with another episode of our new series of talks. We call it the AI GTM or Go to Market Talks. Super excited to have another amazing AI GTM tech founder here with me, EJ Cho from Tofu HQ. And we'll do some quick introductions. EJ, how are you?
Very good. Great to be, sharing this stage with you, Mani, and sharing a little bit more of our journey, what we're building, and so forth. So,
Yep, absolutely. So the way, let me just put up EJ one slide just so folks know, who we are, and what we will do is really quickly. Let me just take 30 seconds. I'll talk about Kwanzaa, and give them an overview on myself, and then the rest of the show is all going to be all about you, EJ, you, and Tofu. So at Kwanzaa, we run, again, a business where we are building out an AI GTM automation platform focused more on the outbound side. We aggregate or unify buying signals all the way from personal level to company level. And then we help our customers leverage all the buying signal data to do better outbound, so in terms of highly personalized, one-to-one personalized messaging through emails, through LinkedIn, through phone voice scripts. We don't do the last mile. We know there's a lot of companies doing that. So that's broadly what we do. But this show is all about, Tofu, EJ, and you all. So now let me turn it over to you.
yes. So my name's EJ. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO here at Tofu. We're a B2B marketing platform, and we help, small, fast-growing startups all the way to large enterprise B2B marketing teams really scale their campaigns through a variety of methods. But the primary two methods is one is through personalization. A lot of B2B marketing teams segment their customers across different personas, different industry verticals. A lot of companies want to do one-to-one ABM. And they know it works because if you have a more tailored messaging, it resonates with the customer segment audience that they have. But it's really hard to scale. So that's where we really come in, where we do a lot of the account research at scale for them, personalize their existing asset, be that like an email, landing page, LinkedIn messaging, what have you, across all those accounts using the account research that we did beforehand. Another area that we really help with is repurposing and remixing existing content. So imagine we have like a webinar like this. I'm sure, Mani, in preparation of this, you had to create some social posts. After this, maybe we're sending out some email. And all of that is derivative content that some marketer has to create. And a lot of times it's not the most enjoyable part of their job. So really thinking about how we can help these teams create their content across different channels, make sure their channels don't go underutilized while still being on brand and on message is really at the core of what we do. And the big differentiation that we have compared to other tools is really bringing that content across channel in one platform. So there's a lot of these point solutions, but we're really trying to narrow that gap on Tofu. So.
All right, sounds good. I apologize that my camera might be off. Are you seeing it? It's gone off for you, or are you all seeing the? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's gone off, but we're good. We can hear you. Yeah.
Got it. Let me. Yeah, I apologize for the issue here with the camera, but let me do this. I mean, I can probably just. I'll stay off video, but then it's all about you. Let me just start by, I think you covered the top level, what do you all do? Can we dive a little bit deeper into your target segments, personas, buying groups, buying teams, and so forth for the solution?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we serve teams that typically Series A and Series B onwards. If you're really early on and you haven't figured quite your ICP or your positioning, we're not necessarily a tool that helps you with that. But once you have figured out your different customer segments and there's a lot of assets that you have to create, and the larger go-to-market team is really leaning on you to do that, but you're really bottleneck and resource constrained, like a lot of marketing teams are, that's where we really help. So Series A, B-ish onwards, all the way to public companies. So we have a few, large marketing teams that use our tool today. And so that's in terms of the sizes. We don't have very specific, focus on different verticals. So we have every companies from construction tech, healthcare, financial services, marketing tech. So we have it across different verticals. And the reason it works is all of them still at the core are doing a lot of these multi-channel campaigns, right? So they're creating marketing email assets, they're doing events, they have landing pages for their one-off campaigns. So a lot of the core activities are quite similar. So that's why it kind of works across the verticals. That said, vertical SaaS companies typically work well because they have a very concentrated TAM, and they're very deliberate in terms of how they message their customers in terms of like different customer segmentation, like personas, industry verticals. Companies that have more of a sales-led motion than a pure PLG company also works well because they're similarly deploying different channels for the marketing efforts. And a lot of times it's really hard. So those kind of segments work well. And within a company, in terms of like personas and buying groups, there's kind of two approaches. There's a more top-down approach where we really target the buyer or the decision maker. Usually that's a CMO, the head of marketing. So she or he has that oversight of bringing a tool that can really elevate their overall marketing team in terms of being more effective. And we have some messaging that really resonates with them. For example, our platform is a one unified platform as opposed to having to buy different, like 4 or 5 point solutions. That really resonates well. However, within Tofu, now there's these individual use cases that we support. So like, for example, ABM teams can create one-to-one personalized landing pages. Like content teams are creating the social post, the blog post. The field event marketing teams are doing all the pre-event and the post-event follow-ups. So for those cases, like we have these different individual user groups that use our tools. So sometimes we go bottom up as well.
Wow. I mean, I got to say, Jay, you guys are doing a lot. And sorry, you folks listening in for some of the technical issues, but everything looks good now. I just wanted to confirm that, EJ, with you. And Amitabh, I know you're here in the background, so if you could, if you don't mind, turn off, if you can, my other screen. Oh, there you go. This looks a lot better, isn't it? So just to recap, EJ, I know we have about 45 minutes. What I believe, we've covered so far has been essentially, we covered what you all do. Obviously, there's a lot you're covering in the whole area around marketing. And we also covered your target segments and personas. So again, just to recap, EJ, I think you said you primarily are selling into tech, and what are the other industries?
We have different kind of tech sectors that we sell to. So construction tech, employee management, marketing tech. So there's different verticals within. I honestly think there's tremendous opportunities outside kind of the more smaller tech ecosystem that we're also exploring right now. So,
got it. So why don't we do this? I think to give people a feel for your product, I thought next, if you wouldn't mind doing like a quick product demo for the folks watching.
Yeah, I'd love to. So let me do this. I think what would be helpful is kind of going over just 1 or 2 slides to give you an overview of how Tofu works. And then I'll dive into the actual product and show you around. And just so I understand, you have about 5 minutes kind of for the demo to give an overview, right?
Correct. Yeah, let's plan around 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so at the core, like I mentioned before, what Tofu does is we have this unified platform, and different marketing teams have different initiatives within their organization that they use Tofu for. So the ABM marketing team, they're creating personalized emails, personalized landing pages to do that one-to-one personalized outreach that really supports the sales team for prospects that are more mid-funnel, bottom funnel. You have the events team creating all the pre-webinar or post-event communication. You have the content team. So there's many different use cases that teams use Tofu for today. And for each of those use cases, we have like a multi-channel, omni-channel strategy that they can create content for and then integrate within Tofu. And then the big differentiator is then we now are able to integrate with different platforms like Marketo and HubSpot for your emails. Like for your landing pages, we work with WordPress, Webflow, and any kind of other CMS out there. So that's kind of at the core of what we do. There's two primary parts of Tofu. One is what we call the playbook. It's really that place where we learn about your company. So think about all the things that makes it important for you to have a really great message that speaks to your brand and is really aligned. A lot of times if you just use the vanilla open models out there, it says something, but a lot of times we also hear it's not quite on brand. So we put a lot of effort to really try to understand how you speak to your customers today. So we call this our knowledge graph in our playbook. So I'll show you a little bit about that. And then once we have that, that's the point at which we can help you scale. So we have this factory where you can create content across different channels, integrate them all together, build custom workflows, save them as templates, run them in autopilot. So over time, you're getting more content out of your team, having most of it automated, so you don't have to spend time making sure your customers are engaged. So those are the two primary parts, and I'll dive in here to show you kind of an instance of Tofu. So I'll start with the playbook. So the playbook, like I mentioned, is where we really learn about you. So here we have a custom instance of Box. So as soon as you put your website, we actually go and crawl and scrape your website so we understand exactly what you do, what kind of service you sell, who do you sell to, what's your position, what's your messaging. Companies can always add more information if they want, and a lot of times there's a lot of marketing assets internally that they use to make sure how they're sharing their message outside is accurate. So we have a place where you can upload that. We have this section called targets. You can think about this as different customer segments, so different persona groups, industries, company. We integrate directly with HubSpot as your sales force. We can pull in any list that you might have created. The default fields like the company name, website, but any other custom fields that you might have that might be relevant for creating really personalized messaging. So think your sales rep left some notes from a previous quarter on why they lost this customer, right? Maybe it was a feature missing, maybe it was timing. And now being able to pull that in Tofu and then using that information to create more personalized messaging, we're able to do that. So this is at the account level. You can do it at the contact level. You can do keywords. So there's a variety of ways you can segment your customers. But for each of these segments, we do deep research on what are their pain points. First of all, what's the summary? Like, what do they do? What does ServiceNow do? What are the pain points ServiceNow faces in the context of what Box provides? What are some of the value propositions? We can do, we connect with Perplexity, so you can do research and say, oh, what are some of the latest business priorities that ServiceNow has that we can use as reference, and then we're able to pull this information in. So I think using both private information and public knowledge to create really personalized messaging. With that, let me just show you a few campaigns that we have built. So think like, oh, we have this ABM campaign. You can map out your whole campaign here in this workflow. I built a simple landing page and email content. This landing page, I personalized it for these 5 accounts. So I'll give you a quick overview. We pulled in the existing box.com website, but you can pull in any landing page, any page that you might have. You can select different components of this website that you want to personalize for. And then in this case, we've personalized it for Okta. You can also add custom instructions at the individual component level. A lot of times humans still want to be in the loop and being able to give fine-grained control in terms of how they want the output to look like. So in here, for example, for something fun, I've said, oh, let's just add an emoji that's really relevant for this target company's industry. So I put like a security lock, right, for Okta. And this is just to say the users have fine-grained control in terms of how they want to control the output, but then use that information and do that at scale, right? Now we have that for Okta, but now we can also do that for like Atlassian and whatnot. And you have the same landing page, any prior instructions that you added before, it's applied here. So it knows it's more Atlassian's a content management workflow automation tool. So, use that as well. So this is just one way where you can personalize your landing page. The beauty of having that omni-channel campaign under one platform, though, is now you can integrate those two together. So let's say I have this landing page, but now I want to pair that with an email. So I've created this email for Atlassian, a typical outbound email, But instead of having to juggle like, different channel content across channels when you execute your campaigns, we can now actually link this hyperlink here to the personalized landing page. So we will actually push these emails to your automation tool like HubSpot, Marketo. But imagine getting a personalized email, but then also having a link to the personalized landing page that's also personalized for you. So that's really one benefit of doing this omni-channel campaign all within Tofu. And I'll show you just one last thing that I think it's a bit more generic. So this is more of a repurposing campaign. So Box recently had an event. They talked about one of their new product lines that they're launching. There was a video on YouTube. So I just fetched the YouTube video. We will automatically transcribe it, do speaker identification. And from that, I said, oh, let's pull in some quotes and highlights. Let's create 3 email sequences. Let's create a social message. Let's create a marketing email. So this is 2 like marketing drip campaigns, drip emails that we've created. So it looks something like this. You can always review it. We do both HTML email and just pure text email. So if you have an HTML template that you want to use, we can bring that as well. But the interesting thing, again, is once you've mapped this out, we can say, oh, we have this email, but now let's actually go ahead and then personalize this email as well. So you can add this personalization where now you're saying, oh, we have these 2 emails. I want to now personalize it across these 5 target accounts. And now we have the same email, but now personalized for Okta. So yeah, Tofu is just a great way where you can link these multi-channel, omni-channel content pieces together, have different workflows so that different actions can be run in sequence. And we have a flow where you can fully automate this. So once you have this, you can turn on autopilot. The idea is, oh, when a new lead-in comes into that target list, we will automatically pull that list, create all the content for you, and push it back to your automation tools. So it's just a great way of creating repeatable campaigns at scale, and over time, really reducing the time that it would otherwise take you to create all the content manually. So that's kind of a quick overview of Tofu. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, no, that I think hopefully this gives folks, watching a good overview of Tofu. EJ, I was at there's a new AI conference in Vegas, called HumanX. I was there the last couple of days, and a lot of the conversation was around how AI is transforming go-to-market, right, across companies. And so I think you guys are right in there. I mean, right in the mix. I can see, there's a lot that you all are doing around on the marketing side in terms of automation, in terms of personalization. Now, so we'll keep diving into that, and I think there's a lot more we can explore there. So so I know we've covered a lot around your product, your capabilities. We've seen the demo. Let's talk about, again, how, as you work with different customers, how are they thinking about the value that you're delivering, the ROI that they get from the use of your platform and tool, and if you can talk to maybe the most kind of regular use case or use cases that you're seeing.
At the core, the value that our customers are getting and are saying that they're getting is the time and resource that it takes to create campaigns at scale is drastically reduced, right? So imagine simple content like the blog post or whatnot. Typically, they work very closely with agencies, long turnaround time, multiple weeks to get that one post. But now you can reduce it, have much more quicker turnaround time at half, if not 1/10 of the budget. So those are just huge gains. Imagine having a full-blown ABM initiative. We have customers that have an army of folks outsourced where they're doing deep account research, just going one by one, trying to understand what are the pain points of these customers. Now imagine doing that at scale for 200 accounts, pulling all the information that you have in your internal private CRM, looking at all the 10Ks, public news, earnings of these companies online, pulling that in and doing that account research for you. And it's not always to say that whatever we're doing is the final output and final information that they need, but it's such an easy way and such a quick way to get to 80% and 90% of what they eventually want, right? So we have teams that, by the way, that still do account research, and there might be some, only knowledge that they might know about, and that's totally fair. But they still use Tofu because there's all of that groundwork that it's kind of almost a mistake to not use. So that's one just big value prop, the time and resources to create the content. Performance, obviously, they care a lot about. So, like, how are these campaigns performing? Are they actually leading to real opportunities like revenue growth? And we want to help them too, right? So, and that starts with like your email campaigns. Are they having good open rates, click-through rates? Are they actually leading to demos? If they have a landing page presence, how much time are they spending there? Is it actually converting? So we track all these metrics for you. And the idea really here is over time, we really want to close that feedback loop. There's a lot of information that's being lost today when you're running campaigns and not really feeding back in. How did that content perform? How did the past email campaign perform? Can we use that in any way for the next campaign? So we really try to help pull these metrics, pull these soft metrics. We have both hard metrics and soft metrics, by the way. Hard metrics are pure campaign performance. There's a lot of soft metrics that we also gain through user feedback. So as the users are engaging with our platform, like I showed you before, they can manually edit it, they can like add instructions, they can choose different variations. Each one of those interactions we are also learning from. So over time, they get better and better. They've created
Got
these
it.
custom style guides. So there's a big feedback loop that we're helping in terms of performance. So I would say those are the two big value propositions, like reduce time and resources to launch your campaigns, and then overall performance increase of your campaigns that you're running. So.
All right. So yeah, EJ. So we have a lot more to get through. So I'm going to ask you more like quick, rapid fire style, a series of questions. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the thing is, I know we've covered the value to the customer. Can you speak more broadly around? I think we're starting to get questions from the audience, and those are really around pricing, packaging, how you're kind of bringing it to customers, your engagement model. Are you just offering the tech? Are you offering any support services? Right? Because there's some companies are doing both. Just offering the platform, and then they let the customer figure out how to use it. Or there's some others that are also offering a companion, on-demand, call it an implementation, or a customer success service offering. So if we can focus on that area and some quick, and on the pricing, I guess there is the outcome-based pricing, right, versus platform and user-based pricing. Can you speak to that first, EJ? Over to you.
Yeah, so we're a platform. So we have a platform-based pricing. We have a core platform fee. And then based on how much content that you're creating, we have a content-based, basically it's different buckets. And our initial bucket is very generous. Almost 95% of our customers fall into that bucket. It's really most to cover our, a burn in terms of like if some people really go crazy in terms of using Tofu. But it's the primary thing is a platform fee, and we have some content buckets. Yeah, so that's kind of our fee structure.
Right, and how about on the engagement model? Are you
yes? So
on implementation services and so forth. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're a software business. So at the core, like our whole idea is for teams to be more efficient by being able to use Tofu and create content themselves, right? So that's at the crux of what we do. However, we do a very white gloved, onboarding. If there's any deep integrations that we need to do with their marketing operations, we do that in advance, be that Salesforce, marketing, Marketo, or HubSpot. HubSpot's usually easy. So we do these integrations with them, and we have regular working sessions. We have a very great customer success management team that helps teams really onboard quickly, get through the campaigns as quickly as possible. But at the core, it's a platform where they can go in and create the content themselves.
Got it. Awesome. All right. So I think the next up is really around, can you speak to the integrations that you're finding you're seeing a lot of? I mean, back to, I think, the industries. I know you mentioned different software and tech verticals, and then I think you have some others also, right? You mentioned construction tech, I think. And are you seeing any typical integrations into different tools, technology and tools in the go-to-market tech stack that you all tend to do more?
Yeah. Integrations are so key, by the way. That's really kind of where the workflow and magic happens. It's not just the one-off image that you generate on Midjourney. That's not going to solve your day-to-day. So we have integrations with the core marketing automation tools. So HubSpot, Marketo, through Salesforce, we can connect with Outreach, Salesloft, Pardot, Eloqua, anything. On the CMS side, we can work with pages on Webflow, WordPress, Contentful. you have custom built CMS. We have a simple way where we can inject a script. So we work with any really CMS web builder out there. We're going to start doing more of these LinkedIn integrations because that's a key part of what we think for LinkedIn messages and LinkedIn ads. So there's more coming. And there's a whole slew of other integrations that we do for ingesting data, like Google Drive integration, like we have direct YouTube integration for fetching your YouTube links. So there's a lot more coming on that side as well in terms of ingesting your data.
Got it. I mean, I'm just thinking, EJ. I mean, just think about the power of what you guys are doing, and bringing in more and more data. I mean, right? I mean, the other angle that I can think of is just listening to your offering is if you continue to bring in more and more both customer data and then interesting person level signal data or company level signal data. Is that something again you all are thinking about? Maybe on your roadmap, thinking what all you could build out there? Anything there?
Yes. So obviously you're in this space, and there's a lot of great players that where signals is such a core asset. I don't think we'll ever do that ourselves, at least in the short term. It's just a very sophisticated business. There's a lot of industry know-how in terms of getting that right. I think we'll partner with a lot of these folks, right? So we have folks that are already using 6sense, demand base of the world. They're getting all these signals. The way we integrate with them is they push that information eventually in their CRM, be that HubSpot or Salesforce. We ingest all that information in Tofu. So we say, okay, these are the target groups that they've identified has some signal and potential to be interested in our platform. We get that information in Tofu, and then we're able to target them, right? Create the actual content, like the emails and the landing pages and the LinkedIn messages, and then push that back all out to their existing platform to send them out. So that's where we really come in. But you're absolutely right. It's such a core value that we see a lot of customers, especially in the early stage, get stuck on. So yeah, we'd love to kind of work more closely with them.
Yeah, because I'm seeing this. There's a bunch of companies, as you said, focusing on the aggregation or unifying of all the buying signals, right? And so it just, as listening to you in terms of everything you guys do, it just seemed like a natural another extension of some of the things you do, where the personalization gets even better, right? Not just company level, but you go down to the individual level and so on. I think then next up is there's a lot I think we've already covered, but let's talk next about your own GTM, right? Can you speak to that a little bit, DJ, in terms of I know you all have done a recent funding round. You're building up your business, you're growing, you're scaling. How are you kind of thinking about your own go-to-market?
Yeah. So the great thing about our platform is that, as long as you're a B2B company, you probably have some marketing team at some point. So a lot of the core problems that you'll face will eventually be something that we can help you with. So our internal networks, be that our investors, or inner circles, have been great in terms of introducing us customers everywhere from like Series B plus startups to learn about Tofu. So that's been a big source of initial customers that we had. And then LinkedIn has been great. My other co-founder, Lane, she's been really great in terms of like socializing a lot of things that's top of mind for go-to-market leaders. So we also leverage LinkedIn influencers. There's a lot of pockets of folks that really have a strong audience. So that's been really high ROI for us recently. So that's been great. In-person events has also been great. So we've gone to a few of these in-person events. A lot of people build relationships through these networking events and gain trust. So especially in this kind of new era of AI, where there's so much content out there, there's so much noise. So people are really trying to cut through the noise and get more high signal to noise, events. And these in-person events have been really helpful. Outbound, we're just testing out. I think just a normal, just cold outbound spam. I think it's kind of well known that it doesn't work well anymore. Email as a channel is getting quite saturated. So really being a bit more deliberate. So some of the more LinkedIn outbound messaging has been working quite well, and we're planning to grow that as well.
Yeah, so let me ask a related question, because I think you're right. It's so noisy, right, from the prospect or the buyer standpoint in terms of all the tech that's coming out. That's one other theme, EJ, I thought I'll mention, right? I heard at some of these recent AI and GTM and marketing and sales related events is just the sheer volume, right, of tech that's coming at prospects. Um, how do you think about this? I'm trying to raise it up a level, right, for you to kind of maybe share your perspective with the folks listening. How do you think about just AI, GTM tech in the marketing area in general, and how do you see that evolving, shaping up? If you look at the next, call it 12 to 24 months, do you have any thoughts there in terms of, clearly you guys have, I think, made a bet, right? That okay, people want maybe, yeah. I don't want to put any words in your mouth. So how do you think about it in terms of how the market is shaping up and how prospects should be thinking about the category and the different kinds of tools they will need in their stack?
Yeah, I think the big
Make
question
sense?
mark for me, and I'm curious how this will evolve or will not evolve, is um, the more agentic workflow that people quote unquote talk about a lot. I think there's a lot of hype around it. There's a lot of demos that look cool, but I've yet to hear any marketing team that says, "Oh yes, this pure agentic, like fully automated workflow is working great for us and is continuing to work." Right? There is that initial phase of like the pure AI ACR outbound tools, and I think there's a lot of pros and cons of that approach. Um, but what are there, like, do people still want to be deeply in the workflow? I think there's always that first phase of building trust with AI, making sure that, oh, yes, what you are doing right now fully automates what I would have been doing and maybe better. I don't think we're at that stage where there's like a lot of concrete of those use cases that can be fully automated without any human involvement. I think there's always some part where the players right now, the people that are the buyers, the users that are in the market, actually want to be in the loop. So we actually think a lot about that, where we can still have the users be in the loop, create content. But then eventually, I do think there will be some parts that will be more automated. It's both on the technology side, how fast that they can catch up to be able to integrate, because a lot of that automation is integration with different workflows, different tools, right? How well will that be? If you have 10 different sequence of actions happening, if one of them breaks with just 0.5% probability, overall, the whole workflow has pretty high chance of failing, right? So how well will the tech evolve to support more complicated workflows is what I'm really curious about. I think it will eventually come. It's just a matter of how fast, I guess. So
I think you're right, because that's a really good observation. Um, it was crazy. I mean, when I was at the conference, there was a lot of concern about exactly AI and what's it going to do to a lot of the junior people within the teams, and then how a job's going to change within the GTM and marketing organization. And to your point, it's I think the key point that I took away from what you just said is human in the loop. Right? There's going to be people in the loop to kind of verify, validate, vet, whatever comes out from all this AI tech, right? And then that's one aspect. The other is perhaps the expectations on the people who are on the job is going to go up in terms of
oh, for
their
sure.
skills and how they use AI on a day-to-day basis as a thought partner, or as a collaborator, right? Literally, AI is a collaborator in terms of them doing their job more efficiently, better, faster. So yeah, that's interesting. Um, so I think you covered a lot in terms of your own GTM. Let me kind of, and then we've talked about just looking ahead to your category. Um, then how do you think about what are going to be the drivers uh, to customer adoption? If you just think about customer adoption of your tech, just looking at the next 6 to 12 months, um, what do you think is going to be key to having more people using the tech, if you will, day to day? Is that something you think about, and what are the drivers?
Of course, yeah, I care about that a lot. So there's a few elements. One is around the capabilities of our platform itself. Right now, we do a great job in terms of personalized landing pages, emails, blogs, social. But there's different more content types. People want to do sales deck. They want to do LinkedIn messaging. They want to like personalize their white papers in different formats. And they want to pull in their Figma files. So there's more different content types and different formats that I think if we support well, people will start using more. There's a usability aspect that I think really gets undeserved attention for more like these B2B enterprise SaaS products. We care about that a lot. So making it more usable. We have a great, again, like CSM team, but at some point we also need to scale without having more of a handhold approach every single time. So can users really, be on board to a tool by themselves, understand how to use it in different ways? We have a lot of different templates that we're starting to build in for our campaign builder. So, oh, yes, I have a webinar. What can I do with it? Sometimes they don't know. Like a lot of times the questions our customer says, two things. Can I do this? And the second thing is, what can I do? So like marketers are always seeking to know how they can be more effective. So it's our job as a product to be able to share and demonstrate that very clearly as soon as they are using the tool. So how can we really improve the usability to get more user adoption? I think that initial learning curve, we have data that says if you're able to create content by yourself in the first 2 weeks, then you're off to the races. I think it's the other teams that initially struggle a bit for various reasons, but that we kind of try to have a more hand-hold approach to getting them successful. But I think it's better to have the product be able to do that themselves. So that's the second thing. Deeper integrations, we talked about signal-based. Right now, they're able to create really personalized assets on Tofu. But where do I start? Which targets should I be reaching out to in the first place? So a lot of times they're bottlenecked there as well. So either partnering or working or being able to integrate with these platforms where they get the signals. Once the content is there, being able to integrate them and push them back out. So integrations is just a huge part, again, for actually making them successful. Not a cute demo, but actually using the tool every single day. Integration is such a key part, so we'll focus on that as well. And the last thing I'll talk about, the quality of the output.
Yeah.
The quality of the output is just super key. So we have our own quality evaluation framework of what the content quality is like. So we'll make sure that's always top notch on our end.
Yeah. Let me touch upon a couple more things, EJ, I'm sure comes up for you as you have conversations. I would say maybe more so with mid-market clients, or larger enterprise customers, which is you probably get questions around underlying technology, the kind of LLMs you're able to work with, right? Data security, privacy, security of the enterprise data. Can you touch upon that a little bit, EJ, before we
so all our data is enclosed. We don't share data across different accounts. So it's encrypted at both transit and rest. We do use foundation models. But whenever we do, we use the enterprise version, which means they don't train the data based on our usage. So they don't retrain the data for their models. But the way our platform works is we have these foundational models like OpenAI's latest models, Anthropic latest models, Llama 3. We test all the models out there every single week. So whenever there's a new model that comes out, like GPT-4 3.5, with latest Anthropic models, we test all of them. We have our quality evaluation framework, like I mentioned, to see which one is working the best for which type of content. So some parts, like Anthropic Cloud, is great. It's much more conversational rich. So we use that for certain parts. For other parts, we use OpenAI models. So we're always just using the best model out there for our customers. And we'll continue to do so. So we've really kind of abstracted that layer of which foundation models we have to use. So we're not dependent on that too much.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's the sense I got was that's what people are looking for, right? The ability to kind of have the right model for the right kind of content output or people might be seeking. And you probably get a lot of questions around data security, privacy. I think you just addressed that. So just then, let's begin to sum up. I think let's do a quick recap. So just to sum up, is Tofu, is it fair to say you are trying to be like an all-in-one platform on the kind of an AI-powered platform on the marketing side? I think you talked about just so many use cases. How do you kind of sum up Tofu for folks listening?
We're all-in-one platform for you to create content at scale across channels. So think about today where the content lives, right? Your email lives in Marketo, your blog post lives in some CMS, you have some white papers in your Google Drive, your webinars in like some other platform. And the big reason why it's so fragmented is the content creation starts fragmented. But what we're building is this content platform layer where all your content lives in one place. once that lives in one place, it's much more efficient in terms of managing. But also we are now able to close that entire feedback loop, not just for one channel, not just for email, but the entire user journey to make the content optimize over time. So yes, we are building that omni-channel platform for your go-to-market teams.
Got it. One quick user question that just popped in is, are you doing anything in terms of the creativity aspect of marketing? Helping people be more creative in terms of the what they put out there.
Actually, that's a great question, because people do that all the time. So I didn't show you that to you in our demo, but there's another platform or a part what we call like just Playground. And in the Playground, it's connected with your playbook, so it knows everything about your business already. But then you can ask like these things. You can literally brainstorm. You talk Mani about this as AI being a thought partner. I use that every day, like for my business problems. But marketers are saying, oh, how should I message this? Or what marketing campaign should I even be doing given this business priority that we have from an organization perspective? So 100%, I think people are using it for definitely for the more laborious and like repeated tasks, but also for the more creative stuff. What should I be doing? Like, how should I be positioning this? Like, is our customer segment correct? What's the right messaging for this landing page? People use that all the time, and I think it's a great way to get different ideas, different perspectives that you would otherwise not have, resources to do. So.
Perfect. I think AJ, we covered a lot of ground. Let me put up the summary slide, which maybe you can talk about how people can get in touch with you, learn more about Tofu, and I'll do likewise, and so we can kind of begin the wrap up. Let me share my screen here, and then we can get our contact information up, and then please.
Yes, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you're interested in our platform, go to tofuhq.com. We're mostly targeting a little bit more larger companies at this moment. We are actually launching a new, more Chrome extension that's more self-serve next month. So if you're interested in that, I can also keep in the loop there. But yeah, LinkedIn, our website, sign up for a demo. You can find different ways to reach out to us. So.
And from our side, folks, you've got my email and LinkedIn. You're welcome to stay in touch. You've got more questions coming, EJ, but somebody's asking, if you're going to have special offers for early stage startups. Looks like there's a lot of interest, but hopefully you'll see a bunch of folks that are reaching out to you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining today. And this is episode 3 of our AI GTM Talks. We spoke to EJ Cho, CEO of Tofu HQ, Tofu. Amazing tool. Please check it out. Bye, EJ.